For some reason, I wanted to pick up dystopians this year. I don't know. I didn't really want to read them because I was like, oh, but we like live in a dystopian. But like, no, it could be worse. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Andrew. I am doing a lot of pre-filming because I just want to have content to edit. Okay, that's just what I want. I'm just going to do another recent reads video. All the books that I have, I'm just going to talk about 5 books that I recently read. I will leave a playlist in the description of all my recent reads, and I'm trying to make sure I have on the thumbnails like what books are discussed in there, so you can go to the videos where you want to see my thoughts on books you are wanting to see my thoughts on, like, duh. Okay, so we're going to talk about the next 5 books that I read so far this year. And we're going to talk about Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This is a book about a futuristic dystopian world. For some reason, I wanted to pick up dystopians this year. I don't know, man. I didn't really want to read them because I was like, oh, but we like live in a dystopian. But like, no, it could be worse. So Scythe is this utopia universe where there's no death. There is nobody dying. Nobody is dying whatsoever at all. But they have these things called scythes that are assigned to kill you. And then like every few months they have these councils to like with all the scythes to discuss like what they're doing, if what they're doing is effective, if they need to change things. Like, so it was a very interesting premise. And I gave the first book 4 stars. We're following Citra and Rowan, who are like they have a mentor who's like teaching them like how to become scythes. And it was good. It was a really good book. And there's some twists. There's some really good twists that I did not see coming. That's like, there's just been so many plot twists by so many books that I just was surprised by. So it's easy to surprise me, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really appreciated the book. I really liked Citra. I really liked Rowan. I really liked their dynamic. A lot of people say like the romance in this book is like there's no chemistry, and I wouldn't say it's like the best romance ever, but it kind of makes sense for the situation they're in. So like so I'm just gonna talk about the next book in the series because I'm gonna kind of talk about the books I read, the next 5 out of order. But we're gonna go into Thunderhead. That was my favorite book. That was like a 4.5 book, especially the ending of that book. Oh my god, that was so fucking good. Like the ending of Thunderhead, and there's like stuff about like the Library of Alexandria being burned down and like history. Just it was so good. And like this whole series has like a really good premise about like what it was like to be mortal and like what it was like to like live in a world where people die, and like how you appreciate life more when it is fleeting, which is such a good message, I think. And I really appreciated the series. But by the time I got to book 3, we just get introduced to so many new characters. Like in book 2, we're introduced to 1 or 2 new characters. And I really, really liked the new character in Thunderhead and like his whole dynamic with the Thunderhead. That was really good. But I ended up not finishing the toll because we're not even following Citra or Rowan or what is his name? I can't remember his name, even though he was like one of my favorite parts about book 2. I want to say it was like, I really truly can't remember, but I really liked his dynamic with the Thunderhead. And I do kind of want to go back and finish the toll because maybe the payoff at the end is good, but I feel like most people give it like a 3 or 3.5 and consider it their least favorite in the series. And like, why just let yourself be disappointed when the first 2 books are good and you can just leave it at that? So I would definitely recommend the first book, and I would definitely recommend the second book, but I can't recommend the series as a whole because I haven't finished it. But the ending of book 2 was so good, and I feel like when we got to book 3, it was just like, it didn't pick up right away from where it left off. Like, I feel like that's just such a mistake by authors. Like, if you're going to, I mean, like, it kind of went there, like, I don't know, man. I did already, like, read, like, I think I got to, like, 50%. I didn't get to 50%. I don't think I even got to, because I don't really want to count DNF. I do count a DNF towards my reading goal if I get over 50%. I've made that rule for myself this year because it's just not fair to yourself to like get so far into a book and then it just not count for anything. So, but if I only got like 40% into it and I just quit. We were never following Citra or Rowan or the character in book 2, which I can't remember his name. Oh man, why do I want to say like Simon, but that's literally not it at all. I just feel like there's so many characters I've met named Simon at this point, but I couldn't finish it. I'm sorry. Some people, I think, consider it their favorite in the series. I'm curious if you've read them, like how you would rank them, and if you think it's worth finishing, because I think a lot of people have rated it pretty highly. So like I kind of do want to finish it just to say that I finished the whole trilogy and say I completed a series, because I don't know. But we're just talking about the first two books, and the first two books were really, really good, and there were definitely twists and turns, and It's definitely more plot driven, but I wasn't as connected to the character. I was more connected to book 2. I was connected to him and I can't remember his name. LOL. Was his name Zach? It's gonna drive me crazy. I have to look it up. I don't know, man. But the name that they're given, like the names that they call Citra and Rowan in the book 2 is just so interesting. And I just really feel like book 3 just missed so many opportunities. But I do kind of want to just continue on because I want to know, I know that like, and there's like this whole thing with Grayson and like what happens with his whole, like, I don't know, man. Like he becomes kind of this, like, he like accidentally becomes kind of like a cult leader. Like it sounds so fascinating. And people are like obsessed and like want to like kill like in his name type deal. But I don't know, man. I'm not really interested in following like that premise. Like I just wish that it had been a little different. So yeah, let's move on to the next book. I actually read this next book before that, but I wanted to like discuss it all. I wanted to discuss the series as a whole first. All right, so then in between Scythe Thunderhead, I read The Magic Fish by Trung Le Nguyen. This art style was so beautiful, and there's like all these little fairy tales like mixed in, and it's about like this guy who's like struggling to like come out to his mom, and like when we get to the end, I absolutely sobbed. It was so beautiful. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I don't know if you like graphic novels. If you like graphic novels, you need to read it. You need to read it. You just need to read it. I gave it 5 beautiful stars. It was fantastic. It's a graphic novel. It'll take you like an hour. I read it at work. Don't watch this if you work with me. So it's really good. It's so beautiful. I read it through the library. It was free, which is awesome for me. And it was just really, really good. And that's all there is to it, okay? That's all there is to it. Then we're going to talk about Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I gave this 5 stars. This was so good. It was so good, man. It was funny. It was lighthearted. It has Greek mythology. It's a little bit educational. Percy is sassy. He's going to, like, it's about, I actually have the book. Let me hold it up because Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. This was so good. So Percy is just like living his life, doing whatever, and he's like kicked out of school all the time, and he's got ADD, he's dyslexic, he's a mess, but come to find out he's a demigod, and he goes to live with like all these like other kids that are also like half gods at Camp Half-Blood, and it's just so, it was such a good, this is like, there's lovable characters, there's a really good plot, and this first book so far has been my favorite. I've only finished the second book all the way. I'm almost done with the third book, so you'll see that, like more thoughts on that in future videos, but this definitely was really good. I really liked this. I really liked the stuff with like the Bree that was a protector of the camp, and I really like Chiron. He's like the mentor type character. I really like, and I like all the characters. I hate the one I'm supposed to hate, Clarice, but then, the future books get so good. This was a really good book, and I understand why it's so popular. I'm very excited for the Disney adaptation. I will be watching that, absolutely. Percy Jackson is worth all the hype he gets, I think, especially this first book so far. The first book is really good. I'm very excited for all the following series. I love the humor because I'm juvenile, and it's just cute and fun, and that's all there is to it, really. I don't know what else to say. If you haven't heard of Percy Jackson, like, where have you been living? What have you been doing? Percy Jackson is an icon. This book has 2 million rating. 2 million and a 4.26 average rating. So believe all the hype, okay? Believe the hype. I need to put this one in Believe the Hype. Okay, then we're gonna talk about Big Little Lies, which I do own it, but I'm not gonna get it because it's way over there. Big Little Lies, I listened to 75% of the book, and I did mark it towards my goal, and I did want to count it because 75% is like almost all of it, but it's so similar to the show that I think that it's not worth really reading it if you've seen the show, because it is it is like a to the letter adaptation. Like, the book and the show are exactly the same, which I actually think that's kind of bad, because like it doesn't really intrigue you to read the book or pick up the show. Like, if there's a couple things that are different about them, like the Shadow and Bone TV show is so much better than the books, and I feel sad for the people that are going to watch the show and then want to pick up the books, because I think the show is much better than the books, and I think even people that really like the book also think the show is better than the book. So, but in terms of Big Little Lies, I would say, like, I probably would have given it at least a 4 had I finished it. I might have given it a 5 if I had no idea what it was about, but I knew every single beat of the story. It was I kind of thought I was going to finish it because I was like, oh, like I am a little bit more in the characters' like heads a little bit more. So like maybe this is worth it for that, but you're not really that much more like because like the character, like the way the show is done is just so good. So I really don't have a whole lot to say, but if you have not seen the show or read the book, then I would definitely recommend reading the book. It's a story in Australia. That was interesting because in the show it's in like Northern California, but in the book it's in Australia, and it's about like all these women that have like kids in this school, and you know, someone's dead at the beginning of the book, and you're seeing like interviews with people about like the night that it happened, and like you don't know who gets killed, and you're gonna say like, why did they get killed? Who was it? Like, it's a very intriguing beginning, and it's just really good. There's definitely a lot of trigger warnings for sure, a lot, so careful with that, but it's very engaging. It's a really good book. It's a really good show. I mean, I read 75% of it, so I think that's a pretty good amount to discuss a little bit about it. But so, and you have like, I mean, there's like so many, like Reese Witherspoon has really come to discover like her iconic role is like that high strung, high powered, like white woman. Like that is just like her aesthetic. Like that is her, that's all she does. And I kind of wish she would try to play something different because we've just seen her do it so many times, but also she's so good at it. So like maybe not, but I do kind of want to see her try something a little bit different. I haven't seen Little Fires Everywhere. I'm definitely interested in that. I'm going to read that first because I feel like, again, that's a Reese Witherspoon like book, and I know she adapted it with her company. So like I definitely want to read the book first, so before I watch the show. But I know there's some changes to the show. See, I think the show is a little bit different from the book. But if you have checked that out, let me know if you think it's worth it to like watch one or read one, for like which way you think maybe would be worth it. So that is all the 5 that we're going to discuss in this video. So my next video, I will probably be wearing the same shirt because like I have my hair cut and my nails done. So like I just need to like film a million videos. Okay. So in the description, I'm going to leave my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, all that for you to follow. I would love it if you would follow me on there. Let me know what you're reading, what you've enjoyed so far. Feel free to message me on Instagram, all that good stuff. I'd love to hear from you. Have a good day. Bye.